TSA has a new enemy in 2026. Not liquids, not shoes, dense mystery blocks. Anything that looks like a solid unexplained shape on the scanner gets pulled instantly. And yes, this includes stuff you'd never suspect. Travel documents, powders, grooming items, even normal chargers. Most people create these blocks by accident. And once you do, your time disappears. Let me tell you what's really happening at airports in 2026. TSA isn't just looking for banned items anymore. They're looking for confusion. Because the fastest way for security to slow down a line is one thing: a bag that turns into a solid, unexplained mess on the scanner. And the scary part is, you don't create that mess on purpose. You do it by packing like a normal person: a tight stack of travel papers, a pouch full of chargers, a grooming kit with metal pieces, a powder container sitting next to liquids, even a simple organizer bag with everything in one place. It all combines into one big shape that the scanner can't read fast. And when the scanner can't read it, you get pulled instantly. No argument, no explanation, just the bag off the belt, the tray to the side, and your time disappears while everyone else walks past you. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what creates these dense blocks, what everyday items trigger the most inspections in 2026, and how to pack in a way that makes your bag look clean and easy to verify. Stay till the end, because the last item is the one that destroys people who swear they pack perfectly. Now, I want you to answer this in the comments. What's the one thing you always keep in your carry-on that would create a dense block if TSA saw it? Comment it below, and let's break down the carry-on mistakes that are silently ruining trips in 2026. Item 9. Cosmetic or skincare tools with built-in blades. Most people assume TSA only cares about obvious sharp objects like knives, scissors, or large cutters. But in 2026, small grooming tools are one of the most common items that get confiscated because they look harmless in your hand. But look dual use on the scanner. This includes eyebrow razors, facial hair shapers, dermaplaning blades, cuticle cutters, callus removers with blades, nail clippers with attached file edges, and some men's grooming trimmers that contain hidden sharp components. The problem isn't whether you personally see it as a weapon. The problem is how fast an officer can verify it. If it looks like a blade shape, even a tiny one, the system treats it like a risk item, because officers are trained to remove uncertain objects instead of debating them. This is exactly why people feel like they're getting randomly targeted, even though the pattern is consistent. It also triggers secondary screening, because once one sharp tool gets flagged, the rest of your toiletry pouch usually gets checked too, costing you minutes you don't have. The smart move is simple. If your grooming tool contains any blade, put it in checked luggage or don't bring it at all. For carry-on travel, switch to safer alternatives like electric trimmers with no exposed blade edges, disposable versions bought at your destination, or travel-friendly grooming tools that are clearly blade-free. In 2026, the best toiletry pouch is one that looks boring on the scanner. Item 8. Large magnetic items and strong magnets. This one catches people off guard because magnets don't feel dangerous. They feel like toys, accessories, or simple travel items. But in 2026, strong magnets and magnetic products are increasingly treated as a screening problem because they interfere with how security systems interpret objects. Certain magnets can distort scanner readings, confuse density detection, and make TSA officers take a closer look even when the item itself is technically harmless. This includes things like magnetic therapy products, heavy-duty fridge-style magnets, magnetic hooks, magnetic phone mounts, strong magnetic clasps, portable magnetic tool holders, and even some magnet bracelets people wear for joint support. The bigger issue is that magnets often get packed near electronics, cables, or power banks, which creates a messy scan image that looks suspicious and forces extra bag checks. That delay is what ruins your travel flow. Instead of a simple pass-through, your bag gets pulled, opened, and manually inspected while the line keeps moving without you. Smart travelers avoid this by keeping strong magnets in checked luggage when possible and never packing them mixed with electronics. If you must carry them, Keep them separated in an easy-to-access pocket so officers can identify them instantly without digging through your entire bag. In 2026, anything that creates confusion on the scanner is treated like a time problem, and time problems become confiscation risks. Item 7. Wireless hair tools that use gas cartridges. Wireless hair tools look harmless because they sit in the same category as normal beauty products, and most travelers assume anything personal care is automatically safe. But the moment a hair straightener, curling iron, or heat brush is powered by a butane gas cartridge, it stops being a beauty item and becomes a flight safety risk. In 2026, enforcement around these tools is far stricter because the danger isn't the heating plate, it's the pressurized gas inside. Air pressure changes, vibration during handling, and heat exposure can cause tiny leaks, and even a small leak in a closed aircraft environment is treated as a serious hazard. The worst part is that many people don't even realize their tool contains gas because the cartridge is hidden inside the handle and feels sealed. That's exactly why it gets confiscated. If the cartridge cannot be removed easily and quickly, airlines and security treat it as a no-go item across the board, meaning it can be rejected in both carry-on and checked luggage. Smart travelers avoid this by choosing corded tools or battery-powered models with removable batteries, because those are much easier to verify and control. It might feel like a small convenience sacrifice, but this is the kind of item that can turn into a sudden security argument, a delayed line, and a ruined trip if you're unlucky. Item 6. Power banks in checked luggage. Power banks are one of the biggest travel traps because people know they're allowed, but they don't understand where they're allowed. In 2026, power banks are still permitted on most flights, but they are not allowed in checked luggage because lithium batteries in the cargo area are difficult to monitor and even harder to manage if they overheat. That means a power bank inside your checked suitcase can cause your bag to be pulled aside, delayed, or even rejected entirely, and you might not find out until you're already at your gate. On top of that, there's a second hidden problem most travelers miss: watt-hour limits. Many airports and airlines treat 100 watt-hours as the common cutoff, and the confusing part is that most people only recognize milliamps-hour numbers, not watt-hours. A 20,000 milliampere-hour power bank can sit close to that limit depending on voltage, and larger ones can cross into a category that requires approval or becomes restricted. If your power bank has no watt-hour label, looks oversized, or feels too powerful, it is more likely to get flagged because security prefers clear verification over guesswork. The safe move is simple. Keep power banks in your carry-on, choose ones clearly labeled under 100 watt-hours, and avoid traveling with mystery devices that don't show their rating. It's not about losing a charger, it's about avoiding the type of delay that snowballs into missed boarding. Item 5. Electronics. That won't turn on this rule is ruthless in 2026 because modern security is not only scanning for shape, it's scanning for confidence. If an officer pulls your device and asks you to turn it on and it doesn't power up, you instantly fall into the unverifiable category. They cannot confirm it's a normal, functioning piece of electronics, and that uncertainty makes it a security problem. This can happen with phones, laptops, tablets, cameras, smartwatches, wireless earbuds, e-readers, or anything that looks like electronics on the scanner. The worst part is you don't get a warning or a polite second chance in many cases. You discover it at the checkpoint when time is already tight, people are behind you, and the officer is trying to keep the line moving. That pressure is what makes this so dangerous for travelers, because once your bag gets pulled, everything slows down. You may be asked extra questions, your bag may be rescreened, and in the worst case, the device can be held back if they can't verify it properly. The fix is boring but powerful. Charge every device the night before, aim for at least 50% battery, and avoid bringing anything that is broken just in case. A dead gadget isn't worth risking your entire flight, especially when airports in 2026 are less forgiving and more focused on speed. Item 4. Smart luggage with non-removable batteries. Smart luggage sounds like the future, and on paper it is. Built-in charging, GPS tracking, digital locks, and even built-in weight scales make it feel like you're upgrading your travel life. But in 2026, the feature that makes it smart is the same feature that gets it blocked: the battery. If your suitcase has a battery inside that cannot be removed quickly, airlines may refuse it at check-in, or security may deny it depending on the route and enforcement level. The reason is simple. In a battery emergency, they need the power source isolated immediately. A non-removable battery inside a suitcase is treated as a risk because nobody wants a sealed lithium power pack buried inside cargo where it can't be accessed fast. This is why some travelers are shocked when their luggage gets rejected, even though it looks premium and expensive. The suitcase itself isn't the issue. It's the inability to separate the battery from the case. The safe alternative is choosing smart luggage with removable battery packs that pop out easily, and always keeping the battery with you in carry-on instead of inside the suitcase. Smart luggage can still be useful, but only if it's designed in a way that security can approve quickly without debate. In 2026, anything that requires explaining at the counter is a risk. Item 3. High-proof alcohol. Above 70%. Most travelers assume alcohol is automatically fine in checked baggage, and for normal bottles, that's often true. But in 2026, extremely high-proof alcohol crosses into flammable material territory, which changes how it is treated. Bottles above 70% alcohol are viewed as a higher fire risk, and that includes certain grain alcohols, unusually strong specialty spirits, and some overproof rums that look normal until you read the label. The harsh part is that travelers often buy these at duty-free thinking the airport purchase makes them protected, but connections can ruin that assumption fast. You might clear one checkpoint, then lose the bottle at the next airport during transfer screening depending on the country, the airline rules, or how strict the officers are that day. That's why people feel like they got robbed even though they did everything correctly. In reality, the bottle was always risky, and enforcement simply caught up. Smart travelers treat this as a simple label check. If the alcohol percentage is extremely high, skip it, because the cost of losing it is not just money. It's time, stress, and sometimes additional questioning. In 2026, the winning strategy is avoiding items that create rule confusion, even when they look legal. Item 2. Full-size aerosols. Aerosols are one of the sneakiest trip killers because they look like normal toiletries, but they behave like pressurized containers, and security treats them differently depending on size and category. People casually pack hairspray, dry shampoo, shaving foam, body spray, skincare spray, and makeup setting sprays because they're used daily and feel harmless. But the moment you pack full-size cans, you create a high chance of problems. In 2026, the issue is not only whether aerosols are allowed, it's whether your specific aerosol is clearly classified under travel toiletry limits. If it's a large spray can and it's not obviously compliant, expect delays or confiscation, because officers don't have time to debate product categories while a line is building. Some aerosols are allowed in smaller sizes, but others are denied quickly because pressurization combined with unclear labeling makes them a hassle to verify. The best alternative is using solid versions when possible, such as solid deodorants or powder-based products, or carrying travel-size aerosols that are clearly within limits. The real lesson is simple. Sprays create extra scrutiny because they're harder to verify quickly. And in 2026, quick verification matters more than technical permission. Item 1. Fresh foods and animal products. Fresh food feels like the safest thing in the world because it's not sharp, not electronic, and not dangerous in a normal sense. But in 2026, fresh foods are one of the fastest ways to get stopped at customs, and sometimes even at security, because agriculture rules have become stricter in many destinations. Fruits, vegetables, meat, cheese, eggs, honey, and homemade sandwiches often trigger restrictions. Not because authorities think you're doing something evil, but because pests, contamination risks, and disease control are taken extremely seriously. The mistake travelers make is thinking, it's just for the flight, or it's a small amount. But customs doesn't care about your intention. They care about what the item could introduce into the country. In some places, food is confiscated immediately. In stricter places, you can even get fined for failing to declare it. That's why this item ruins trips so often, especially for travelers who love packing homemade snacks to save money. The safe option is carrying factory-packaged snacks with clear labeling and sealed packaging, because those are easier to verify and far less likely to trigger penalties. If you're unsure whether your destination allows a fresh food item, don't gamble with it. In 2026, food rules are less forgiving, and customs stops can become stressful and time-consuming fast. So here's the real truth about airport travel in 2026. You don't get stopped because you packed something bad. You get stopped because your bag looks like a question mark on the scanner, and the system doesn't have time for questions anymore. It doesn't negotiate, it doesn't explain, it just pulls your bag, opens it, and steals your time while everyone else keeps walking. But now, you know the new rule. Don't pack like a normal person. Pack like someone who wants their bag to look clean, simple, and fast to verify. Because in 2026, the winners aren't the people with the best luggage. They're the people whose bag gives TSA 0 reasons to pause. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. What's the one thing you always carry that could turn into a dense block? Chargers, papers, powders, grooming kit, batteries? What is it? And if you want part 2, I'll make it with the exact TSA phrases that instantly reduce delays and the packing layout that makes your carry-on scan easy. Just comment part 2 so I know. Subscribe because 2026 airports are not getting calmer. They're getting faster, stricter, and more automatic. But if you understand the system, you stop getting surprised by it. See you in the next video.